Hey everyone. A friend, well, not a friend, but a fellow Sonic fan over at the Sega forums in the cartoons comics section posted a topic back on the 18th entitled with a question mark, because basically it's a question, Sonic Cinematic Universe. Now, in case you guys don't get the gist of that, basically it's a question, basically if you don't get the gist of that question, basically the person that put this, which is Miru, Maru, I think, um, basically is questioning if the Sonic movie in 2 years becomes popular enough that could it spawn a cinematic universe? Now they bet it will, but and then they ask, what do you want to become of it? Now this is a good question. Now this is an interesting question because nowadays in movies, we're getting all these different cinematic universes connected to one. You know, with Marvel, we got the Marvel Cinematic Universe started back in 2007 with Iron Man. You know, we got the DC multi universe, as they call it, or the what are they calling it again? They're calling it the extended cinematic universe. I don't know what they're calling it. I gotta check it out. But basically, DC's got their own cinematic universe happening in a month or so, in basically about a month, with Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice, and then Suicide Squad in August, and Wonder Woman next year. Now, with that said, we also know that Star Trek, in a sense, has got not Star Trek, but Star Wars has a cinematic universe as well. Pretty much Episode 7 opened the door for that. Like I said, Episode 7, that was my laundry going off. Episode 7 opened the door for that to happen because this year, in December, we're supposed to get Rogue One. Okay? Next year, in December, we're supposed to get Episode 8. I think, if not earlier. And then the following year, we're supposed to get, I think, a Han Solo movie. And then we're supposed to get Episode 9, and then maybe another movie after that. And Rogue One, Han Solo, and whatever other movie they come up with, they're part of an anthology series. Thus, in a sense, they're part of a cinematic universe. They're all connected in some way. But the question is, if the Sonic, but basically what this person's asking is, if the Sonic movie is successful in 2008, could it spawn a cinematic universe? Well, honestly, I think if any video game franchise given the proper chance to succeed as a movie done correctly and done properly and correctly, it could be Sonic. And when one looks beyond the games, he does have enough material, not just in the games, but beyond the games, to actually work on a cinematic universe. Now, yeah, it's called the DC Extended Universe, is what they're calling it. The DCEU, as they call it, and that's for like Superman, Batman, Man of Steel, stuff like that. Um, but getting back on topic here, uh, like I was saying, if any movie based on a video game, if done right, if done justice, if done properly and correctly, I think Sonic could be the one because, like I said, it's got enough material in the games, but if you go beyond the games, you get a lot more as well. Now, obviously, this person's a huge Blaze the Cat fan, or at least is a fan of Blaze the Cat, because they're asking, what would we as fans want to become of a Sonic cinematic universe? Now, in their opinion, they've labeled a few. They've labeled, when they started this topic on the 18th, they basically put three phases, kind of like Marvel's phases. They put three phases of how they feel it could go. Now, in their opinion, phase one after the Sonic movie should be a Blaze the Cat movie, depending on the success. Now, they put in parentheses, depending on the success of a Wonder Woman movie. Now, what they're stating is if Wonder Woman's a huge hit and Sega decides, hey, let's do a Sonic cinematic universe and do another movie connected to the Sonic movie after the movie, they feel that Blaze should be the first one that gets that opportunity. The second movie in their phase one, would be perhaps a straight-to-video Chaotix movie, a Shadow the Hedgehog movie, theatrically, a sequel to Sonic the Hedgehog which would be Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Metal Storm, and then to round out phase one, kind of a la Avengers, have the Freedom Fighters. Now, yeah, sorry for the interruption. My mom came home, and you know how it is when you do videos. You don't want to be interrupted. So anyway, getting on to what I was talking about now. Like I said, that's how they would end phase one if they feel a cinematic universe would be made. Because basically, the way Miru is, in their opinion, putting it in three different phases is, again, phase one to them, if a Sonic cinematic universe was to be made based on the success of the Sonic 2018 movie, again, this is how they look at it. Phase one would be the follow-up movie would be in the first phase would be a Blaze the Cat movie, depending, they even put this in parentheses, depending on the success of a Wonder Woman movie. So what they're saying is if the Wonder Woman movie succeeds in 2017, there's a possibility that if a Sonic cinematic universe was to be done, that the Blaze the Cat, in their opinion, and like I said in the first part, like I just said previously, you can tell this person's kind of a Blaze the Cat fan. Blaze the Cat would be the most natural second fit to go and have a movie. Now, the second movie they feel would be mostly a direct-to-video movie, or maybe a straight-to-video movie, and that is a movie based on the Chaotix. Then they feel that the next theatrical one in the phase one would be a Shadow the Hedgehog movie, followed by a sequel to the Sonic movie called Metal Storm, and then to round it up, kind of have an Avengers-like kind of deal with the Freedom Fighters. Now, that sounds great and everything. Perfectly understandable. Now, the second phase would be like this, in their opinion. The second phase would be a sequel to the Blaze the Cat movie, a Team Dark movie, in other words, Shadow, Rouge, and Omega, a movie based on Tails' adventure, a possible, well, not possible, but a straight-to-video release movie featuring Mighty and Ray, Mighty the Armadillo and Ray the Squirrel, a straight-to-video release of the Babylon Rogues, and then another Freedom Fighters movie called The Age of Memphilis. And then they rounded out by saying phase three, the first two they put in phase three, would be Tikal, the First Guardian, and Blaze the Cat 3. So they would make a sequel, another sequel to the Blaze the Cat movie. But yeah, and like I said, they would basically, in their opinion, in Murhu's opinion, they would round out the third phase, or they would start out the third phase where they to call the first Guardian movie, and a second sequel to a Blaze the Cat movie. Now, like I said, you can kind of tell that they're a Blaze the Cat fan, so I can't really say any wrong about that. Um, and that sounds good and everything. Now others did chime in with their own. Some are actually about more. Now, like I said, some have chimed in with their own ideas, and one specifically, Ricky Acorn, actually came up with years as to what movie. Basically, gay Ricky Acorn, like I said, responded by talking about what movies, video game wise, he feels could be released at what not phase, but not by phase, but by year. And he looks at 2018, of course, starting with Sonic. 2019, this is Ricky Acorn's reply. He was the first one to reply. He says 2018 would start with Sonic. 2019, you would have Nights into Dreams, Jet Set Radio, and Mega Man. 2020, you could have Golden Axe, Altered Beast, Alex Kidd, and a sequel to Sonic the Hedgehog. 2021, you could have a Sonic and Mega Man Worlds Collide movie adaptation, a House of the Dead movie adaptation, a Fantasy Zone movie adaptation. Then in the following year, 2022, you have a sequel to Sonic the Hedgehog called Sonic 3 and Knuckles, basically taking a play off the game. You would have a movie based on Super Monkey Ball and sequels to Golden Axe and Mega Man. And then in 2023, you would have a sequel to Sonic and Mega Man's Worlds Collide with Worlds Unite movie adaptation, a sequel to Fantasy Zone, a sequel to House of Dead, and a Mega Man X movie. Then in 2024, he says that he lists only two movies, and that would be two games that could be movie adaptations in 2024, and that would be Sonic Adventure, Mega Man, and Mega Man Zero. Then he follows that up with a 2025 listing of three possible video game adaptations into movies: Mega Man ZX, Shadow the Hedgehog, and Mega Man Battle Network. And then he looked at 2026 as starting with a third Sonic and Mega Man movie, a Mega Man Star Force movie, a Mega Man Legends movie, and the rise of Lyric: The Death of Sonic. I don't think Sega would ever do that, but you never know. Well, maybe they would if they went in this direction. Basically, in Ricky's eyes, if they do this, they would do it. Because 2027, he looks at a Tails movie, an individual Tails movie, an individual Knuckles movie, a sequel to The Rise of Lyric Part 2, Return of Sonic, and a Street Fighter crosses over with Mega Man movie. Hold on for a sec. Sorry about that. I had to put the cat back in the garage. But getting back on topic here, Maru actually responds to this with her own listing. Basically, she continues on from where he left off, and Maru continues on, like I said, where Ricky Acorn left off, by saying 2028 she could see a Battletoads movie, a Mega Man ZX Advent movie, Dust, Urslan Tale movie, a Lalasu Chronicles movie. Then she sees 2029 as a Battletoads 2 Battle Maniacs. She sees maybe a reboot. She doesn't put no sequel here, so she probably sees a reboot for Blaze the Cat. She looks at 2030 as having a Freedom Planet movie adaptation, as well as a Darkstalkers movie adaptation. And then 2031, she looks at the misadventures of Trombone and Styx, Battletoads 3, Ragnarok's World, and a sequel to Freedom Planet. And I will say this. This is basically what... I will say this. This is the fun that we have as fans, knowing that we're going to finally get a movie adaptation of something that we thought we'd probably get a movie adaptation about, a movie adaptation of a long time ago. And I'm not counting the 1996/1999 OVA. I mean, I thought legitimately we'd get something maybe around that time, but we never did. But now to finally know we're getting something, this is how much fun it makes for us fans, because we can actually imagine and think and almost hope that something like this will come to pass. Now, some of their ideas, Maru's and Ricky Acorn's ideas, they do seem good, maybe almost possible. But I look at it more like this, and I hope Maru is listening, because I look at it more like this. If they were to do a Sonic Cinematic Universe, or something to that nature, a lot of these movies probably wouldn't be theatrical. They mostly would be direct-to Blu-ray. That's how I look at it. I mean, the only way I see Blaze, Shadow, Rouge, Amy, Tails, Sally, Rotor, all of them on the big screen with Sonic is in the Sonic movie itself. It's either in the Sonic movie, or if it's successful enough, as you point out, to get a sequel, possibly in the sequel. That's how I look at it. That's how I see that happening. That's how I see that coming about. Now, I'm not saying Maru's ideas aren't great, but we're in a world where Hollywood would look at this and be like, who's Blaze the Cat? Who's the Chaotix? They would probably know who Shadow the Hedgehog is. But mostly they'd have to do, some people would have to do research and be like, well, who's Blaze the Cat? Let's see who she is. Da, 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 da. Again, I'm not saying it wouldn't be possible. I'm not saying it wouldn't be possible, but I think along the lines of actually happening, I think it's more legit to be direct to video. I hate to say that. Now, again, I'm not saying it isn't possible. I'm not saying, as I said in a previous video, that we probably won't get a movie set loosely based on that with those characters. I'm not saying we won't. But a Sonic Cinematic Universe, as good as it sounds more like it could be, I'll show you. A Sonic Cinematic Universe would sound like it would be more belonging in this category. That's right, of the DC animated universe, of the animated original universe. That's what would happen. I would see it more going in this direction. I would see it like what DC and Marvel are doing right now. Their animated stuff and the live action stuff is completely separate. Different continuities, multiverses. I would see something similar if they wanted to do something like that with Sonic. I would see a lot of the ideas that Maru put down for a cinematic universe or some kind of universe as a direct to Blu-ray DVD uh, thing. I could see that. I could see that happening. I think that would be more of a legit, if not realistic, way for them to go. Because, because just like the question Frank Hill asked me, do I think a Sonic Boom movie could be possible? As I said, I think it would be a great way to tie into the movie, to hype up this 2018 movie, as well as a possible movie adaptation on the Archie Comics version of Sonic Archie Comics version of Sonic right now. I think would be a great way to tie into the movie. Doesn't mean that they're going to be connecting. No, it means basically that they would basically be hyping up the movie, getting you ready for it, and kind of giving you a taste through their own animated films of possibly what you're going to get, but on the big screen and with that mixture of CGI and live action. But this, as far as the Sonic Cinematic Universe, I think it's probably the best direction they're going to go in. If they were to do that, to at least hype up the film. I mean, I'm not saying that they can't do what DC and Marvel have done, mostly like what DC has done with their original animated universe movies. I'm not saying that's the case. Like I said, I'm not saying that's the case. I mean, I could see her Blaze the Cat movie idea being being like a Wonder Woman animated film idea. I could see that. I could see them doing something like this for Blaze the Cat or any of the female Sonic characters, main ones that is. I could see that. I could see that happening. But the question is, would it happen? Because I do see, like I said, I do see all these kind of things more suitable for direct-to-video Blu-ray to hype up and promote the movie. And I could see something like with the Freedom Fighters being similar to this. I could see someone like Sonic. I could see someone like Sally and Bunny maybe here and Sally here and all that. I could see that. And Antoine and Rhoda. I could see those characters on there. I could see that. But, like I said, I think it's more suitable for a direct-to-video Blu-ray release than it would be a theatrical release. And that's a fact. That is a true, honest to God fact. I mean, again, I'm not trying to say I'm not trying to say that it's not a good idea. It is a great idea. It's tremendous. I mean, the way I would do it is like this. If you wanted to do a cinematic universe, but mostly as a direct to Blu-ray DVD deal, then I would do it like this. I would go with the most knowledgeable, most recognized. Oh, and there goes the door. Um, I would do it with the most recognizable source material. Hold on for a sec. Gotta pause this again. But as I was saying, if I was them, I would try to basically like I said, the most logical direction is to, for a Sonic Cinematic Universe is a direct-to-video Blu-ray release. And I think the most logical direction to go is to follow the source material. That's how I would do it, is to follow the source material, which is right here. Things like this, basically follow the source material. I mean, the way I look at it, if anything, I think the best first movie to adapt, if they would be able to do it, which I doubt they would, the best story to adapt first would be Endgame. You know, you know that that's how I see it. I think the best one to adapt at first would be Endgame because of the fact that it's a dark story, and in a sense, it kind of would introduce the characters. But like I said, a Sonic Cinematic Universe, I would have no problem with it. But I think it'd be more suited for a direct to Blu-ray DVD release. I mean, direct to home video release. Period. Not saying that it couldn't be released theatrically or anything, but honestly, the way Hollywood is, they haven't really had much success with video game movies. We'll see how much success they have this year with Ratchet and Clank and Warcraft and possibly Sly Cooper. But we won't know and Angry Birds, but we won't really know if those will be huge hits or not. And if they are, that might mean some good news for Sonic and maybe other future video game movie adaptations in the future. But again, again, I like Maru's idea for a cinematic universe, but I think I look at a cinematic universe more closely like what DC is doing with their original animated films, and that's a direct-to-video Blu-ray release. So that's all I'm going to say on it. Let me know what you guys think, because as I was trying to say, I would look at it like this. I would go with a Sonic. I mean, here's what I would look at it. If you really want to get fans kind of introduced to all the characters, game and non-game related, I would go with a movie adaptation to really start things off of Countdown to Chaos. I would. And if they could try, like I just mentioned, maybe try to do Endgame or at least a loose adaptation of it of some kind. But those would be the two that I would really start out with. Maybe even Sonic Genesis as well, because that kind of softly retcons everything, gets you introduced to a lot of the characters. So, but that's all I'm going to say. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to y'all later. And sorry for the interruptions.